It's about 11 o'clock on Thursday, March 14th, 2024. Today's forecast is hail, large hail, thunderstorms, and maybe a tornado. Right now it's about 70 degrees, super humid. It says 70 feels like 77, and there's a wind blowing from the south, which always says that we're going to get some moisture when the direction of the wind changes. And the rain's going to start around noon, maybe another storm at 2, at 6, and at midnight tonight. So that's what we're looking at for the weather forecast. I'm sorry I didn't show you the cow move. As I said, the grass is getting better the further east you go in that pasture. I think that's only true for the northern half of the northern half, and then the southern half of the northern half. The grass is slightly better, I think, in the west. So we'll see how that works out. I've got Rammy here with me, just kind of keeping an eye, making sure the dogs don't get too excited. And sure enough, the dogs are not excited at all. They're just calmly relaxing and enjoying the humid temperature here. He's probably dying from heat. He needs to hurry up and shed. He's shedding a little bit, but he needs to get that rest of the fur off there. Snowball, not Hindungi. That's Hindungi over there. Hindungi, if you're wondering, that means whitey in Korean. It's kind of a cute way to say, you know, white. That's disgusting. Anyway, Nutmeg's probably still in heat. Hopefully she'll get pregnant with actual sheep guard dogs that will bond with the sheep and not try to play with them. So, like, this dog is pretty good. He stays near the sheep, he guards the sheep, but he doesn't touch the sheep. So, except for that one instance where I think a sheep tried to eat his food and then he got kind of crazy. But outside of that, he's been a good dog. So, Rammy is, let's see, he was born about 3 weeks ago now. So he's almost to the point where he could start being weaned from the bottle, and he needs to increase his grass intake. And I'm trying to get as much pasture time as I can for him. I'm not quite comfortable leaving him out here. He doesn't have a mama that will protect him and feed him. But I do, when he's at home, I put him in the backyard during the day. So he sits out there in the grass. He would nuzzle against the door trying to get inside because he knows we're inside the house. So I built a little fence, or we had a little dog fence that keeps him on the grass, which he's comfortable with now. I just need to keep moving that so that he's not sitting in his own poo. He's a lover, he's not a fighter. Right? He'd rather love everything. He needs to shed too. Yeah. So, I spent some time thinking about what to do about the sheep, and one of the ideas I had last night was to repurpose the cow pen, or rather dual purpose it, make it so that it can do sheep as well. A really simple thing I could do is take cattle panel or something like that, pig panel or something like that, so the lambs can't get through, and just connect it with the pipes. The pipes are spaced apart such that big sheep can't get through, but lambs can easily get through. Along with that, I was thinking of maybe getting some of those fiberglass T-posts that, oh, I forgot the name of the company, but timeless fence posts, and putting down some high-tensile wire on the inside perimeter of the cattle area, just along the edge of the fence there. And the reason for that is to train the animals that are in the pen on hot wire, and to make it a little easier to set up, you know, temporary fencing, to train them on temporary fencing. I'm going to have a problem where if I get sheep that have never seen hot wire before and I put them out here in the pasture, they're just going to run right through the hot wire. They're never going to learn what it's about, except that if you want to get through it, you just run really fast. And so what I need is to train the sheep on hot wire, and the way you do that is you set up a permanent barrier that they can't get through, and then just inside that you put hot wire, and then they quickly figure out to stay away from the hot wire, that you can't get through it. There's a barrier on the other side. And then what you do next is you set up a temporary fencing along the center of their area. And you give them some time with that. And then what you do is you put their food, some kind of food or treat or something, on the other side of the fence. And when they refuse to cross the fence to get the food, then you know that they can't cross the fence even for food. And at that point, what you do is you put a gap in the fence, and you have them learn that it's not the posts that are creating an invisible line, it's the white wire. And you can go around the white wire in the fence, and it's perfectly safe, right? And at that point, then the sheep should be trained on hot wire, or any animal for that instance, should be trained. Where did Rammy go? Oh, there he is. And at that point, you can experiment putting them out to pasture. And if they get out, you put them back in and stuff like that. I know Greg Judy culls all the sheep that don't stay in his pen, but he has a luxury that I don't, which he has lots of ewes. And so every year he can basically double his flock if he wanted to. So what that means is he can go ahead and cull half his sheep, and he'll be back to the flock size the next year or the year after that. So I'm moving away from, oh, Rammy's following me. Yeah. Okay, so set up the cow pen so it can also handle sheep and lambs. The one thing I did want to mention is I'm looking at people that do process sheep. I'm told that the Australians know the most. I saw an Irish guy praising the virtues of the Australian method of sheep herding. And they use a variety of systems. One of the techniques that I've seen used by the Irish guy and also used by the Australians is they just get a small pen. A pen that's small enough that they can reach across with a shepherd's hook. And the sheep, once they're locked in that pen, they're not going anywhere. And one of the benefits of that is you can see how the sheep move. If some of the sheep have a limp or something like that, it'll become pretty apparent pretty quick. And then, of course, you have the gate where you can sort pretty quickly. You have a long chute, and then you have at the end of the chute kind of an open grating that they can see through, the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And then the sheep, you basically flip a switch and they either go one way or the other, and that's how you sort them pretty quick. That's something else I'll have to do, sorting them using that kind of system, which I think I can plug that just straight into my cattle pen, because they do the same thing with cattle. There's a spot where I can put a cattle chute, and I don't know of any chute that will do cattle and sheep. And the truth is I don't need to process cattle. If I want to do something to my cattle, it's just cheap enough that I just load the cattle up onto a trailer and take them to the vet, and they have all the machinery there, and they're super fast at it, and they do it super quick. So I think I'll just rely on the vets for my cattle. I really don't have that many cattle. I'm never going to have that many cattle. I don't think it really justifies the cost of getting a good cattle chute. If I were doing AI, artificial insemination, then I might invest in it, but I'm not. And I kind of don't see the point with so few cattle of doing AI. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here is I will have hundreds of sheep. Half of the AUs will be sheep, half the AUs will be cows. So at this point, I'm comfortable putting 30 AUs on 60 acres. The back 20 that my neighbor lets me use, that's emergency only. That's the backstop to the emergency stockpiles that I'm going to build up this year. So 15 AUs of cattle means that I will basically at this point have 15 cows, and 15 AUs of sheep. Well, they say 6 or 8 sheep per AU, so that's 100, 200, right? In that ballpark. And then my goal is to increase the fertility of this ground so I can run 60 AUs, so double all of those numbers, and that's how I get close to 300 sheep. I'm thinking of doing both St. Croix purebreds, using the St. Croix rams, Dorper ewes, and selling the product. Okay, we have a problem here. Nope. Nope. All right, I gotta go, guys. Bye.